Peace, what's up? This is Drill with Quantum Light Consciousness. Today we're going to talk about expanding into unity consciousness. So let's get into it. It's basically based off of, oneness and living from the inside out and not being totally run by world events, what things happen around you, and what things mean to others around you. It's really just sitting in your center and walking in your center and understanding that your power is within your center when you're clear and balanced. This allows you to see through the illusion of what kind of is being projected on main screens, media, television, Hollywood in general, and just most things that most people pay attention to and don't really get through to understand the deeper aspects of why stuff is going the way it is, and why most people don't focus on themselves from the soul aspect, and they're kind of just always looking for that next thing on a level based out of gratification, just based off materialism. So in order to really get out of that paradigm, you can't blame others. No matter how fucked up, how messed up the world is, no matter how, screwed up other people are subconsciously, and they kind of just roll with that, and they project a whole bunch of crap on others, being that if you're in their way, you kind of just sit back and understand that what is going on around you has nothing to do with you. However, it is the entire story of the collective. So we are inherently involved in what is going on. So when you understand that, you can kind of just reflect on where you're coming from, and you can be compassionately detached, and you can sit in your power and understand that what's going on is for the greater purpose of involvement for everyone who's participating in the global events unfolding. Just because it has to get as bad as it has gotten, and for it, in order for it to change. A lot of the things that's easy for people to get hung up on is kind of just looking at the picture and just saying, the big picture, and just saying, oh, it's just a cosmic story. This is our story. We kind of just have to let it unfold and, go with what happens. There is truth to that, and there's basis to that where people should do that. But you kind of have to understand that when you're dealing with people who have forgotten who they are, who run the world, who have corporate ideals to just, pillage and destroy the planet they live on, with people's lives, their agenda is not benevolent. And we're in that, whether you like it or not, people have to deal with that, including yourself. It may not be directly, but maybe your children would have to deal with the storms that have, negative chemicals dumped into them from the chemtrails. It's kind of like something that they have planned on doing to just weaken the population over a period of time. So understanding that, there is no outside, there is no us versus them. It's all us. Even if you go up in dimensions and you deal with, enlightened ETs and angelics, they're still us. But it's just like rules to the game where their hands are tied, where they can't intervene, because we have the power to change what goes on here. Believe it or not, it's not in the book for required education in school, so no one knows it. So, no one believes it because nobody else believes it. And when you see that, the they is an illusion. It's just people who have forgotten themselves. You start to have a lot more compassion for what's going on, why they're doing it, and their motives behind it. You begin to understand, and then you see them as kind of like a person who just needs help, who's just sick, and needs to be taken out of power and kind of forced to step down. So it's something that is easier to understand when you open your mind, and when you are able to program yourself to see the bigger picture as a multidimensional being, not just the person who was brought up with traditional education and will only believe what others think. You're able to transition into unity consciousness and be one with the universe, with a universal source that is, beyond words. It's indescribable. Channel that energy and bring that energy in within you and heal yourself, heal your life, move forward, and not care what others think, regardless of the storylines that are being played out across the nation and across the world, and live in your own truth and come by your own storyline and shifting your own timeline. So transitioning into unity consciousness also means going from an us versus them duality into it's all of us, one people, on the entire planet. Like the entire planet is one continent, unity. Kind of how they spread the propaganda, we're all going to unite, however whether it's like a football team or if it's country, but with different agendas. Either if you're on a football team, one team loses, other team makes more money, other team is kind of on the losing side and their players get cut, or you have the countries, one country is the greatest country in the world, and other countries they're kind of war torn, and they don't have much to eat or drink, and they wake up to bombs. So it's like kind of understanding that your awareness of oneness within yourself, that's where it begins. And it goes along with not blaming yourself, not blaming the world, not blaming each other, and understanding that the unity is you, because you are other people in the world. There's alternate aspects of you, and when you get there, it's like a different game. You see that the entire realm has been kind of just like waiting for you to wake up and realize that. And when you realize that, you are stepping into your power to begin. And it's like every time you help others, you begin helping yourself. And then you begin to shift even more. That's kind of like the incentive. I saw a funny cartoon the other day on climate change. They're like climate change scientists up on a podium, displaying the benefits for climate change. And it's like better efficiency, free energy, better communities, higher sustainability and regenerative ability. And then you have the naysayers in the crowd saying, well, what if it doesn't work? We just do all that stuff for nothing? You understand, it starts with you and understanding when you help each other, you're helping yourself. And not to get hung up on the financial game, the criminal enterprises that run most countries, and endless war, and financial institutions that, have predatory debt capital and students' backs. It's not something that is going to help you if you blame it and be like, oh, I'm not where I want to be because of all these establishment programs and systems that have been utilized against me to keep me down before I even had any chance to grow. That kind of is putting yourself underwater and then trying to get out of it, and then rise up after that. So it's like we have to just see people as ourselves and not seeing others as the enemy. So it's always important to remember that you have the power within yourself to change wherever you're at, change anything about yourself that you want to, and anything that you can shift around you, will be applicable with what you change within and what you apply, from within inside out. So something that is most basic in understanding is knowing that you are the creator of your reality. You have the most optimal power, the most optimal influence, and the highest probability to create the most amount of change within your own timeline. And utilizing that is your greatest strength that you could possibly have. And moving with that understanding is even greater, because your timeline starts to shift as you look around you on a day-to-day, and then you begin to shift while you're shifting. Yeah, just remember, like, the only reason why somebody ever does anything that's malevolent or would look like as an evil thing to do is because they think they have to do it. People who do negative things, they feel like that they have to do it because they've been born into an unfortunate situation, and they've either been lied to or they've been manipulated most of their lives, and they continue to do the thing that isn't positive because they feel like it's their only option. And even when lives are at stake, you kind of just have to get into your heart and expand that heart chakra into compassion and understanding and discernment for how would I feel if a person who I loved was in the negative person situation, and you see that that person is just like probably was a family member in a past timeline, in a past life. It goes that deep. So just remember that things will change, but we all have to change, and it all begins with the person inside, staring at the mirror, at your 3D body, and you have to be there first. You have to be present with yourself first and engage in unifying your thought processes into one stream, and kind of being yourself first and then expanding outwards, and then massive change can come about from that inner center, that inner power center of the present and the now, because that's where all your power is. So that's it. If you guys would like a session, available at quantumlight.net. Just thought I would kind of just tone it down for this video. Last video was a little bit, just kind of intense. So also, if you guys like these videos, feel free to subscribe and share, and I'd be happy to also answer any questions that you guys might have. Thanks so much.